Your fingers have fingertips, but your toes don't have toe tips. Yet, you can tiptoe but not tip finger. What if phobias are made from how you died in a past life? Spiders, snakes, and clowns must have been a huge problem in the past. Spider-Man's spidey sense is really just spot-on anxiety. You're not wrong. The sentence, "Don't objectify women," has women as the object of the sentence. You have become the very thing you swore to destroy. You are probably closer to being a millionaire than Bill Gates. Let's go! What if sleeping is our natural state, and we're only awake to gather information for our dreams? You stop that. Dogs are pretty much just all-terrain chickens. If sexuality is a spectrum, then someone must be the gayest gay in history. It could be any one of us. Stairs are surprisingly dangerous for being everywhere. Cars too. OP's big self trying to walk down a simple set of stairs. Dying is when your skeleton finally hatches. I think you should take less showers. If you become a surgeon, you're legally allowed to stab people. Education is important, but reopening the pubs is importanter. If I were you, I'd stick with education until you figure out what's wrong with the word importanter. Laughing until you cry is funny. Crying until you laugh is terrifying. Water is really wet. The letter X is just the letter K, but got kicked in the back. Wait, what? Oh man. Even though they have no correlation whatsoever, 7 times 7 equals 49, and Thursday feel the exact same. Same with 5 times 5 equals 25 and Friday. They have the same energy. So does November and Thursday. What the hell are you two talking about? I get it. If you die, your online friends won't know you've died. They'll just wonder why you never got online again. Someday there will be dads disappointed in their sons because they like sports rather than video games. Joke's on you. I like sports and video games, and my dad is still disappointed in me. A bee is willing to end its own life just to cause you a tiny amount of pain. I can relate to that level of pettiness. Due to the evolution of bacteria with respect to our body's natural defense mechanisms, traveling forward in time could kill you, and traveling back in time could kill everyone. I never thought about this, but it makes perfect sense. Epistemology fascinates me, and this post is just so cool to me. What if the Black Plague and Spanish flu outbreaks were caused by some AL time traveler? If there are straight people who are in denial about being gay, then there are also gay people who are actually straight but in denial. Yes, Spider-Man would be a lot less cool if he didn't live in NYC. There is no better time for this gift. Eat the toilet paper so it wipes on the way out. Every machine is a smoke machine if you operate it wrong enough. I'm gonna show this to my production manager and watch her head explode. Nipples are just straws for beginners. How dare you make me read this with my own eyes? Home is where the water doesn't taste weird. So have you learned anything in Reddit school yet? Skyscrapers are just giant sandcastles because glass and concrete are made of sand. People don't get crankier as they age. They just become less tolerant of other people's BS. Yes, that's what crankier mean. Alarm clocks are the world's most hated objects. If they don't do their job correctly, they are hated. But if they do their jobs correctly, they are hated. Your arms grow just long enough to defend your nuts. Wiping your butt is pretty handy too. Looking for a new computer on an old computer is oddly cruel. That's like asking your wife to hook you up with her younger, hotter coworker. How did the person who invented the clock know the time? If you divide holy water into just holy oxygen and holy hydrogen, you can use the holy hydrogen to create holy hydrogen bombs. Breathing intensifies. A ghost could be vigorously breakdancing behind you and you wouldn't know. One day, our grandkids will dig through our old boxes of stuff, find our old cell phones, turn them on, open the photo library, and be absolutely horrified. What is this waifus folder? Hey, I do not have a folder called that. The police should wear red and blue light-up shoes for when they get into chases by foot. Approximately 200,000 years of evolution. Humans are still completely vulnerable while they sleep and lack any sort of defense mechanism. The defense mechanism is community, you self-centered dick. In the Harry Potter universe, where paintings and images can interact with those looking at them, waifu pillows are probably a lot more interesting. I can't believe you just casually posted this like it was an okay thing to do. Gamers probably like games so much because, unlike in real life, the rules are consistent, make sense, and can be learned. And there are guides that you can read in case you're lost. Fun fact, it doesn't matter if you press either button to go up or down. These buttons just call for an elevator. I don't think we get energy from sleep. Okay, Mr. Sleep Specialist. You don't fully appreciate Pac-Man until you too are desperately trying to find the right pill that makes the murder ghosts go away for a while. Birds are just wireless chargers for humans. Bro, don't do that to me. It's true. People who say not to talk to them before their morning coffee are basically saying that they're unpleasant to be around when they're not under the influence of drugs. Unless what they are really saying is that you're unpleasant to be around until they are under the influence of drugs. If giraffes were predators, they would look both hilarious and terrifying while sneaking up on their prey. All someone needs to do is genetically engineer a horse to grow a horn, and that person will be rich. Because there are always pregnant people. The average number of skeletons in a body is higher higher than 1. I never needed to think about this, but now I'm reblogging it and all of you can suffer as well. Earth could not exist without the sun, yet Earth's existence is irrelevant to the sun. Sadly, some human relationships are similar. No, he's got a point. If you die a virgin, you'll end a 200,000 year streak of people getting laid. What's something you think about often? If a nickname is what people call you for short, then your full name is your Nicholas name. You are probably in the background of a framed photo in a random house. Impossible. That requires I go outside during human hours. When are human hours? You can remove any one letter from the word seat and still end up with a real word. 5 is like an honorary even number. Why does this make sense? Weddings are an expensive way to let your entire family know you are smashing that night. Your stomach thinks all potatoes are mashed. One day, you will take your last poop without even knowing it. Reading this on the toilet is scary as hell. Today I learned that with each degree of temperature rise, violence increases up to 20%. Fight crime by reducing Earth's temperature to 0 Kelvin. Time stops at 0 Kelvin. Crime stops at 0 Kelvin. If the Nether is also called the Netherlands, then the end could also be called Finland. Not Safe for Work is a media where spoilers in the title are fine. And if they reveal everything in the trailer, you still go away satisfied. Maybe dogs don't really like belly scratches. They just like getting their nipples Yes, officer, this post right here. Ugh. The person who first discovered that coconut could be eaten must have experienced depths of hunger that many will never know. They probably just saw some other animal doing it, man. You mean like the coconut crab, which naturally feeds on coconuts by breaking them open with large claws? Coconut crab. I sneep, I break the coconut, I eat the coconut. Some dude. If gas prices keep going up, it will be cheaper to snort drugs and run everywhere. Finally, a good shower thought. What confuses me is how some people take 40 minutes to shower. What are you doing in there? Are you okay? Camping trip? I just spent 40 minutes in the shower thinking, why is there a thing called a grapefruit when there's a fruit called a grape? It's time for you to look inward and begin asking yourself the big questions. Like, why are most mob farms made out of cobblestone when there is wood, a cheaper alternative? Many people hate bees simply because wasps are the a-holes. At first glance, it's easy to think a bee is a wasp, but we got to look out for our little bee friends. Be safe, be healthy. When you're staring off into the distance, there is a slight chance that you're staring at someone who is staring right back at you. Reading about psychology is fun until one of the disorders starts to sound a little too familiar. Instead of LMAO or LOL, I'm gonna start using Batman. Blew air through my nose because that's what I really do when I read something funny. 2019 is going to be the midpoint in 1969 to 2069. Nice. Someone, somewhere, at some point has probably idly fantasized about being in a relationship with you. Big deal. I have nightmares too. Can't think of a single apocalypse or plague movie that anticipated the run on toilet paper. Hoard toilet paper. You understand me? Hoard it. Hoard it like it's made of gold, because it is. I can't believe a supernatural GIF is applicable to 2020 events. This is definitely the worst possible timeline. People in movies hold their handgun sideways so that their 8 bullets can turn into infinite bullets. In movies, there are 2 kinds of vents. Human-sized vents and vents that are big enough only for the smallest, least experienced member of the group. I feel like science is just people who are good at math deciding to tackle their shower thoughts. Someone should make a haunted house where it's not that scary and the props look poorly made, but the exit is fake and the real haunted house begins when you think you've left it. The part of the ugly duckling no one ever mentions is that after a lifetime of bullying, the duckling grows into a swan, the undisputed biggest a-hole of the bird kingdom. If you love milk chocolate but don't like dark chocolate, you actually like sugar more than chocolate. If you like pickles but don't like cucumbers, you actually like vinegar more than cucumbers. If you like roasted chicken but not raw chicken, you actually like the heat from your oven more than chicken. It kind of makes sense that the target audience for fidget spinners lost interest in them so quickly. Glasses require your ears and your nose to do your eyes a favor. There's a stranger out there who probably has a memory that involves you in it, that they think about it from time to time. Why do I remember that ugly? Hey, come on, have some self-confidence. What? Sitting here wondering, was orange a color first or a fruit? Snakes most likely evolved from spaghetti. What if when you die, you go into spectator mode and can fly around and view life through others' eyes in first person, or just chill until the match ends, you know? Water is really what a rainbow tastes like. The problem with coffee is that you have to make coffee before you've had coffee. Biting your lower lip is seductive and attractive, whereas biting your upper lip has the complete opposite effect. Viruses you get from not safe for work sites are digital STDs. The not safe for work sites in the Star Wars universe must have so many categories. If there is an infinite amount of universes, then in at least one of them, we are best friends. It's a shame that we'll never experience that here. Want to chat? We can still make that happen. I always look forward to making new friends. You play Overwatch? No. Do you recommend it? If your username ends with 70, people will assume you are 48, but if it ends with 69, you are definitely a 12-year-old. Sleeping sucks. You take ages to fall asleep. You miss out on hours of your conscious life, and when you wake up, your breath stinks, you look awful and you stink and need to clean yourself up. But unlike earlier when you couldn't get to sleep, now you don't want to get up. I shower and brush my teeth before bed and still wake up looking like I died. Are you really even alive? Where do we go when we sleep? There are infinite parallel universes, and in one of them, your username is what you poop. 99% of the human population, alive or dead, doesn't know you exist. There's some guy in the corner of this planet who has rickrolled the highest number of strangers on the internet. His name is Rick Astley, you idiot. In Lord of the Rings, looks like meat's back on the menu, boys, implies that orcs know what a menu is and have therefore been to a restaurant. I wonder what a restaurant in Mordor is like. I don't know, but you probably need reservations. One does not just walk in. 23 years of cell phone cameras, and still no one cares about your fireworks photos. I care. It's entirely possible that we get to choose our stats at the start of our lives, but due to being babies, we just choose randomly because we're stupid. It's messed up that no matter how good a pie smells, it won't actually make you float up off the ground when you smell it, unless you're dreaming. One day the Lord of the Rings trilogy will be remade and we will hate all of it. There's only 2 days in our lifetime that are not 24 hours. The day we are born and the day we die. I was born at exactly midnight. I'm going to end myself at exactly midnight, just to prove you all wrong. Can a ghost and zombie come from the same person? Ghost shaking their head at their zombified body stumbling around like an idiot. Is this a comic? This should definitely be a comic. Posting newborns' weight and length makes childbirth rather too similar to fishing. Food for thought. Are mashed potatoes just Irish guacamole? The first human to be killed by a doing the deed robot has likely already been born and is walking among us and has no idea they'll eventually have a Wikipedia page about their death. Blind people must save a lot on electricity. They do actually. I had a blind professor last semester and I swung through his office to make up an exam. It was a while before I knew he was in there because he was sitting with the lights off. I finally went in, apologized, and took the exam by the light of a nearby window, which was fine. 45 minutes into dead silence, he panicked and yelled in this booming voice, "Wait, you can see?" before diving across his desk to turn the lights on. I'm sure he was embarrassed, but I thought it was endearing and it highlighted a large aspect of disabled life that I hadn't previously considered. We used to use photos to capture authentic moments, and now we create artificial moments to capture photos. Society, I'm the Joker. Boomers calling millennials and Gen Z snowflakes is ironic since they messed up the climate so there won't be snowflakes in the future. Wait, hold on. Oh, let me think about this one. It sucks when I read red as red and not read, so I have to reread read as read, so I can read correctly and it can also make sense. Dancers took 5, 6, 7, and 8 because musicians took 1, 2, 3, 4. Never thought about it like this. People from the Star Wars universe would have their minds blown if they ever came to Earth and learned there are deserts, forests, oceans, swamps, mountains, jungles, and arctics, all on the same planet. Your nipples are older than your teeth. A lot of people's lives are determined by where their teacher randomly assigned them to sit. A baby born after 12 AM EST in an ambulance that's headed to a nearby CST hospital would technically be time traveling to before they were born. Sir, this is a Wendy's. The real walk of shame is going back to your friends after bowling a gutter ball. There are days in your life that you have completely forgotten. You will probably forget that today even happened at some point. Running in a hotel hallway feels faster than running anywhere else. What if umbrellas were supposed to be called brellas, but the person who named them hesitated? The time you spend in the shower can determine how lonely you are. Lonely people take longer and hotter showers because it can replace the warmth they are lacking, socially or emotionally. Don't forget to poop before midnight on 31st of December. You don't want to carry the same shit in 2025. Chickens are about 1/3 the height of a kid, and there are 3 times as many chickens as people. If all the chickens stacked together in groups of 3 under a trench coat, they could go around unnoticed on Halloween collecting tons of candy, and most people would have no idea. Despite being red and green, watermelons are never associated with Christmas. Don't date me unless you want to be constantly amazed by the amount of movies and shows I've just never seen. People will cover their webcam laptop for privacy, but not the front camera on their phones that stares at them for hours. On April 1st, you trick. Then exactly 6 months later, on October 31st, you treat. Let's stop calling divorces failed marriages. It's not a failure to move on when something isn't working. A serial killer has probably watched their own documentary on their unsolved crimes and laughed at the inaccuracies in the leads. Wouldn't know, not a serial killer. Did a serial killer make the shower thought? A Ouija board say ages 8+, so you have to be 21 to drink, but can summon the dead at 8. If we removed all laws, the crime rate would be 0. Your finger is the perfect size to fit in your nose. How cool would it be if we had the ability to dream together with other people, like multiplayer dreaming? School isn't hard. Paying attention to something you are not interested in is. Being asked, why are you depressed? Life is beautiful, is like saying, why do you have asthma? There is so much air. You must complete 21 laps around the giant fireball in space before you can drink the yellow plant liquid that makes you thirsty. When I was a kid getting put to bed at 9 p.m, I couldn't wait until I was a grown-up and I could stay up until whatever time I wanted. That time is, apparently, 9. If I'm not consciously controlling my bodily functions, does that mean I'm being kept alive against my own will? Generation Z was this close to being the first generation to not smoke until some a-hole came out with a USB stick that tastes like bubblegum. Someone had a crush on you, was totally secretly in love with you, dreamed about you at night, and you have no idea. No, they didn't. Shut up. It's odd how your feet are so sensitive to touch and tickles while being one of the most used and abused parts of your body. He's been in the shower for a while. I wonder what he's doing. In the shower. There was at least 1 millisecond where the global population was 6969696969. Here's what you should do if you're taking a bath and suddenly wonder, am I soup? Step 1. Check tub to see what it's filled with. If tub is filled with carrots, celery, onions, and vegetable stock, you are soup. If tub is filled with just water, you are still soup, but it won't be as flavorful. If Lego Batman's parents were Lego billionaires and they were shot, imagine the amount of studs that fountained out of them as Bruce was crying while being showered in Lego currency. 50 Cent was born in 1975. If you account for inflation, he is now $2.34. Whoever created the tradition of not seeing the bride in the wedding dress beforehand saved countless husbands everywhere from hours of dress shopping and will forever be a hero to all men. Maybe your dog's favorite toy is actually what they think your favorite toy is, which is why they always bring it to you. Pineapple has juices that digest your mouth and lips. Your butt thing is made up of the same skin as your lips. Pineapple can eat butt. Why are they called ribeyes? They don't live up to their name at all. There's no ribs nor are there eyes. I don't know why I come up with these stupid thoughts. If we had tamed bears instead of wolves thousands of years ago, we would have living teddy bears as pets. Every culture has their ethnic donut and every culture has their ethnic dumpling. Humans be frying dough. Every culture also makes a sword. If they got metal, they make a sword. If they don't have metal, they take obsidian or shark teeth or whatever it is that they've got and they make that into a sword. Coincidence? I think not. 2 constants in all civilizations. 1. Tasty fried food. 2. Danger murder sticks. World building tip. The bare bones of all civilizations are fried dough and sharp things. We're in the safest, cleanest, healthiest, easiest era, but some adults still missed the old days when things were worse. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned, and I'm sorry, Daddy, I've been very naughty, are simultaneously saying very similar and very different things. Pro tip for writers. This is what people mean when they say, sure, they're synonyms, but it still dramatically changes the entire meaning of a sentence. Older dogs who go deaf are probably thinking, why did everyone stop talking to me? I'm stuck in the loop of, I'm feeling kind of tired and I don't want to do anything today. Maybe I'll try again tomorrow, but it's every day. The internet connects people at a long distance, but disconnects people at a short distance. In Star Wars lightsaber duels, nobody takes advantage of being able to turn their lightsabers on and off. It would make blocking attacks impossible, as you could turn your lightsaber off just before making contact with the opponents, passing the block and then back on again in one fluid motion. If Eminem's mum wanted to, she could probably make a good amount of money selling her own spaghetti sauce. Anakin probably screamed, I hate you, because he wanted to say that in that moment and not as a reaction to Obi-Wan, because he was suffering from the fire too much to be able to concentrate on anything Obi-Wan was saying. Eat becomes fat if you don't draw the line. I want to feel bad, but actually this is pretty accurate, since your memory prioritizes remembering things that are out of the ordinary. Cringing at your past self for screwing up just indicates that screwing up is not a regular thing you do. You've spent hours of your life rubbing a piece of glass. Most of us have spent much more time trying to crack our own online password than any hacker ever will. Rest in peace to my old Yahoo account, which I do not know the password to, but they insist I answer the security question, which I have no clue what 12-year-old me answered. Apple probably named their smartwatch Apple Watch because iWatch would have just been creepy. The man who invented internet is 80 years old now. If you see him walking down the street, you'll think he's just another old dude who doesn't know how to use the internet. That's actually my first thought when I see an old person. I think, damn, they definitely don't know how to use the internet. Apple's Think Different slogan wouldn't work for them today. Auto moderator, you appear to have submitted a common or unoriginal thought. As such, it has been automatically removed.